watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you and welcome into Fox 35 News Plus. I'm Garrett Wymer, and thanks for joining us live on Fox Local, fox35orlando.com, and also on YouTube. We appreciate you joining us on this Wednesday morning. A couple of live events that we are monitoring right now. I want to let you know as we kind of talk about some of the things that are coming up in this show. A little bit later, we're going to take you to a news conference that happened just a few minutes ago. The FIFA Club World Cup is coming to Orlando. The head of FIFA was in Orlando with some city leaders as well, holding a news conference to talk about the excitement of that tournament starting in June here in Orlando at Inter & Co Stadium and also at Camping World Stadium. But we have two events going on right now. On the left there, you see Ms. Trusty. She is actually an FCC board member nominee. This is part of a hearing with the Senate Commerce Committee, the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation. Who you don't see right now is Jared Isaacman. He is also sitting at the table on the other side of Ms. Trusty. He is nominated for the administrator of NASA, and so that confirmation hearing going on right now. We will check in on that in just a little bit. On the right there, you see a member of the Coast Guard at Port Everglades talking about a major drug interdiction effort, basically more than $500 million. That's $500 million worth of drugs that the Coast Guard is going to be offloading. 48,000 pounds of illegal drugs that the Coast Guard has intercepted and seized. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi expected to be at this news conference. FBI Director Kash Patel expected to be here as well. We've been listening in a little bit, and I'm not sure. This was scheduled to start at 11. We know that the person who is speaking now from the Coast Guard began speaking before 11, so I'm not sure exactly of the timeline of that, but we do expect to hear from U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi at that news conference momentarily. So a couple of live events that we will get you into here shortly. And we will continue to monitor throughout the morning. Very interested in this NASA administrator nomination hearing, so we will check in on that in just a few minutes. But we begin this morning with the major changes that could be coming to the ESE program in Osceola County. This is exceptional student education. It's classes for students with disabilities. And we know that as Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie reports, many parents say they are unhappy with some of the proposals in Osceola County.
Many parents say they are upset and showed up last night to voice their concerns, taking up all 75 chairs inside as well as space in the lobby for overflow. One student tells Fox 35 that she would like to continue to go to Harmony Middle School, where she is currently zoned, but proposed changes to the Osceola County Exceptional Student Program would send her to a hub school instead. Charlotte has Smith-Magen's syndrome and needs extra help in the classroom. She qualifies as an ESE student.
These kids are flourishing where they're at right now. So why the change? Why the abrupt change?
As a board member and as an educator, I did not feel set up for success. So I can't imagine how the parents have to feel. That's right.
In addition to creating hubs for students who need specialized services, the district aims to integrate other special needs students into general education classes. Another issue a lot of parents talked about last night was about transportation, since this would also affect the commute and separating children and siblings. One parent tells Fox 35 that she has twins that would have to go to separate schools under this change. Reporting in Osceola County, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Meanwhile, we're also continuing to learn more about this barn fire in Marion County that killed 21 horses early yesterday morning. It all happened at a farm in Reddick, that's just north of Ocala. And we learned that the farm is not affiliated with the World Equestrian Center. Fox 35's Marley Capper, though, has the latest details on the fire.
We're told that this land is privately owned by the same family that owns the World Equestrian Center, but they are completely separate. Regardless, this is just such a tragedy for the family and especially the riding community. Now, the people who own the bar are known as the Roberts family. Now, people in the community tell us that they raise Western pleasure quarter horses. They're known for their calm temperament yet strong muscular build that allows them to sprint.
For the Roberts family, it's not anything about the money. It's about the love that they have for those animals.
The woman that you just heard from is Catherine Lombardi. She knows this feeling all too well. She lost her horses in a barn fire Easter weekend of 1998. Lombardi says losing a horse is really like losing a family member, and really the Roberts lost over 2 dozen. So it's such a tragedy. We're definitely praying for the family and, of course, those horses.
I want to go to live now inside this confirmation hearing for NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, who you see right there. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas just asking him about how to compete with China in the space race. So let's go ahead and listen into this answer.
Including in your opening remarks, we certainly cannot lose. If we do not lead the way and we're following, we may be following forever, and the consequence of which could be extraordinary. I mean, even if you're talking about things that have maybe even a low probability, let's say, for example, on the lunar surface, helium-3 becomes a new source of fusion power. It could shift the balance of power here on Earth. I don't think we can afford to find that out the hard way. As you said, sir, and I've agreed for a very long time, space is the ultimate high ground. We cannot afford to cede that ground.
So my team did a visual representation of what the stakes are. And it's a simple question: what does the future look like in 2030? Now, I will note that my team used ChatGPT to make this poster. And my immediate comment on seeing it is the American flag is too damn small. And I was told it was difficult to get a bigger American flag on AI. That may be underscoring the need to win the race for AI as well. But it does give a sense of exactly what the choices we're facing. Now, when we met in my office, you said beating China back to the moon was, quote, critical for our national interests. You also said that if President Trump turns on the television and sees Chinese astronauts on the surface of the moon before Americans, you said you would be fired that day. In your written testimony, however, you said, quote, we will prioritize sending American astronauts to Mars. There seems to be a bit of tension between the commitment you made in my office and your testimony. What is your view? Will you maintain course with the Artemis program so that we can return American astronauts to the moon before President Trump leaves office?
Mr. Chairman, I really appreciate the statement. First, I couldn't agree more with the president and his inspiring and ambitious goal to send American astronauts to plant the stars and stripes on Mars. He didn't say we shouldn't go to the moon. I suspect the president, as I feel, and probably a lot of Americans, is what's taking us so long to get back to the moon, and why does it cost so much money? I absolutely want to see us return to the moon. As I mentioned in my prepared remarks, determine the economic, scientific, and national security value while we are also proceeding towards Mars. I don't think we have to make any tough trades here, Senator. I think if we can concentrate our resources at the world's greatest space agency, we don't have to make a binary decision of moon versus Mars, or moon has to come first versus Mars. I think we could be paralleling these efforts and doing the near impossible, which is exactly why the American taxpayers funded NASA in the first place.
Well, I will say on the question of whether NASA has to implement moon then Mars, United States law is explicit and unequivocal on that. 51 U.S.C. section 20302, which Senator Cantwell and I wrote, says, vision for space exploration, the administrator shall establish a program to develop a sustained human presence in cislunar space or on the moon as a stepping stone to future exploration of Mars and other destinations. The notion of the moon as a stepping stone is explicitly in U.S. law. Do you acknowledge that?
Yes, I do, Senator.
And let me ask you, given the current NASA budget, if we assume for a moment we're not going to see a dramatic shift and NASA's budget double tomorrow, do you believe it is possible to stand up a full mission to the moon and a full mission to the Mars simultaneously?
Senator, as I mentioned in my prepared remarks, I think we can absolutely do that. We can figure out the space economy in low Earth orbit. We can run more scientific missions. This is the agency that went from sending Alan Shepard on a suborbital mission, and 8 years later, we saw Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the surface of the moon. Do I think that we can get back to the moon, chart a course for Mars, and do all the other things? Absolutely, Senator.
So do we have your commitment that you will not allow the scenario on the right on this poster to happen, that China will not beat us to the moon, that one of these heroes sitting in this room will set his or her, and as a father of 2 daughters, I'm particularly excited that Artemis is committed. It will be a her. The first woman will step foot on the moon, and she will be an American astronaut. Do we have your commitment that we will win the race to the moon and China will not beat us?
Senator, I only see the left-hand portion of that poster.
And next time we'll make the American flag bigger. Senator Cantwell.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent that the poster be placed in the record.
An excellent idea, and a chairman who was crossing his T's and dotting his I's would have done so already, without objection. Senator Cantwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And continuing on this same point, listen, I have no doubt of your capabilities at the technical side of this and the expertise, both on the aviation and the space side. It's a question, I think, of a long-term challenge of different administrations to deliver on this goal and how each administration and each Congress does or doesn't support it. So I view your job as like wrangling the powers that be to support the mission and understand what it's going to take to support the mission. So like Senator Cruz, I want to understand a little bit more about your commitments. The most recent economic impact report highlighted that in fiscal year 2023, NASA projects to generate more than $75 billion in economic output. And the National Academy studies chaired by Norm Augustine found that NASA's budget is often incompatible with the scope, complexity, and difficulty of its mission work. That means that we end up shortchanging it to certain degrees. So I want to make sure I understand what your commitment is, because there's been so much in the press. Do you commit not to closing any of the NASA's 10 centers or divesting from critical infrastructure without the expressed authorization of Congress?
Senator, you absolutely have my commitment to work alongside Congress. I think NASA is going to require the best and brightest from across the nation and all of our critical infrastructure in order to achieve its mission to do the near impossible for all humankind.
Do you see any reason to close these 10 centers?
Senator, there's only so much that I can be briefed on in advance of this opportunity. I fully expect to roll up my sleeves and determine, where all of our best resources are so we can get back to achieving the mission as quickly as possible.
The 2024.
So the confirmation hearing for Jared Isaacman continues on Capitol Hill. You heard an exchange with Senator Ted Cruz about going to the moon, not wanting China to beat us back to the moon there. And Jared Isaacman, the billionaire businessman who has been in orbit a couple of times, led 2 private astronaut flights into orbit, saying that he only sees the opportunity for the option of the United States winning that space race again here in 2025, getting back to the moon before 2030. And we should note that that the Artemis astronauts, all 4 of them, were in attendance at that. I think one shot you could see them in blue on the front row there. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Koch, and Jeremy Hansen, all there in attendance for this confirmation hearing. We are still standing by awaiting the Attorney General of the United States and the FBI Director in South Florida. This is at Port Everglades, where we expect them to talk about the Coast Guard intercepting and offloading 48,000 pounds of illegal drugs. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back after this. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson joins me now. And Jess, a little bit of a chill in the air this morning.
Yeah, it was pretty refreshing, almost a little brisk out there this morning. We actually started off in the 50s and 60s, but we have been warming up nicely, and that's really going to be the case as we head throughout the rest of today. Temperatures will actually struggle quite a bit to even make it into the 80s. Most of us will only be staying right around the mid to upper 70s. So as we take you throughout the rest of today, you'll notice that we do expect temperatures to warm their way into the 70s as early as, say, noon today in the next hour or so, and we'll slowly but surely climb our way into the upper 70s for highs as we head over the course of this afternoon. To be more specific, it was a high of 79 degrees today in Orlando, 79 as well in Claremont to Leesburg, the Villages, 77 in DeLand, 78 in Sanford, your high today, and then the mid 70s along the coasts and beaches. So 75 in Melbourne, 75 as well in Titusville, Daytona Beach, 74 your high today in Palm Coast. So it is going to be a very pleasant day, all things considered, because that's actually going to be a degree or two below normal for this time of year. So our typical high temperature is right around 82 degrees. We are going to be staying right below that over the course of today and even into tomorrow potentially. So when it comes to our Fox 35 storm tracker radar, we've been keeping a close eye for the potential of any sort of showers or thunderstorms. We've seen a good amount of sunshine today, but I do want to draw your attention to areas just off the coast because there are some showers and even a couple of thunderstorms that exist just offshore. That is going to be a part of a slim chance of a stray shower or two that exists for today. So really through the majority of our day and for the majority of us in central Florida, we're going to be dry. But looking ahead towards say 4, 5, 6 o'clock, we'll see a couple of clouds try to roll in. A northwesterly flow begins to set up shop, and that is going to help to contribute to possibility of a stray shower or two. Just a 20% chance of rain. These will continue, a very slim chance over the course of say 10, 11 o'clock tonight, with arguably the best chances taking place while many of us are asleep into the overnight. So we're talking, close to say 2 a.m. if you wake up and hear, the pitter patter of rain on your roof or maybe a random clap of thunder. That is going to be one of the reasons why. These are going to be very isolated, very hit and miss, and pretty brief for the most part. You'll also notice that they really won't make it further inland than, say, the I-95 corridor. So really, they're going to be staying for areas closer to the beaches, the coast, I-95 and points east. That's going to be for, Flagler, Volusia, and also Brevard counties as we head over the course of today. Now, when it comes to our Thursday, we're still going to actually be seeing a couple of these stray showers. Not going to be expecting, a complete and total washout setup, but we are going to be likely seeing, temperatures that are going to be similar today. It's really going to be a similar setup, just generally speaking, just a little bit more of a northwesterly flow. So by 9 a.m., a couple of showers will be lingering in and around the area, but as we look ahead towards, say, midday, a few clouds, we could see maybe a shower or two pop up, specifically for areas, I would say, closer to Seminole County, Osceola County. That's about as far inland as most of these showers do look to make it and appear. So again, not going to be expecting any sort of major issues, but by Friday, I will say a high of 84 degrees. So we're going to warm up slowly but surely. 84 is a little warmer than what we'd normally see for this time of year. And then by Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at, a picture perfect weekend. Doesn't get a whole lot better than this. So for Friday evening, we'll actually have a cold front move through. So that's what's going to account for Friday's 20% chance of rain. Only a sprinkle or two. Really, majority of the day, again, will be pretty dry. And then for Saturday and Sunday, we'll see a high of 76 Saturday, 78 Sunday. And then early parts of next week, we do look to warm things back up with highs back in the mid to upper 80s, but still no 90-degree days, Garrett, over the next several days. So we will take it. We had that little taste of summer, and now this is appearing much more April and spring-like for us. But the weekend, gosh, it's going to be really nice. With the exception, I will say Sunday morning, it's going to be a little chilly, 40s and 50s possible, but we'll take it with how nice of the weekend it's going to be.
Yeah, overall, you already have me looking forward to that. I tell you what, here we are on Wednesday, but already looking forward to that Saturday and Sunday. I tell you what.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. As if you needed another reason to look forward to the weekend. But at least I'm just very grateful and happy that the nice days are going to fall right on the weekend, just kind of perfectly aligned there from Mother Nature.
Yeah, we like that. Fox 35 Storm Team meteorologist Jessica Dobson, we appreciate you joining us. As we go to break here on Fox 35 News Plus, give you a live view along the Space Coast from our Launch Credit Union camera in Titusville, where later this evening, around 7 o'clock, I believe, is the estimated or the target launch time for United Launch Alliance, a ULA Atlas V rocket deploying 27 satellites from Amazon's Project Kuiper. These are basically Amazon's satellite internet, like we hear about SpaceX's Starlink. So that launch is set for tonight. Project Kuiper's first batch of satellites, hoping to launch from Cape Canaveral later today. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we will be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
This is a live look at Port Everglades in South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, where the Coast Guard is talking about offloading 48,000 pounds of illegal drugs. That's the value of more than $500 million. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi is here at this news conference. I did not see him walk up, but FBI Director Kash Patel also is expected to be here, as well as a number of other officials. So let's go ahead and listen in as this news conference begins in South Florida.
Rodzevich. I spell THOMASRODZEWICZ, Commanding Officer of U.S. Coast Guard Cutter James. We will begin with brief statements from these leaders, and then we'll open the floor to your questions. Following the speaker's remarks, we have about 10 minutes during which media may ask one question and one follow-up to allow for other outlets to have an opportunity. At the conclusion of the press briefing, our public affairs staff will also be available to assist with any follow-on inquiries or further needs. For those unable to join us today, we will publish a press release with imagery and information about the James's interdiction operations later today. I request that any questions you may ask are focused on the Coast Guard's drug interdiction operations and the cutter James. I know that we have several leaders here today, and you may have other questions for them, and we are happy to refer those to the appropriate authority to be answered at another time. But we invited you here today for the James offload. Thank you, and it is now my pleasure to introduce the U.S. Attorney General, the Honorable Pam Bondi.
Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you. Kash, thank you. Director Patel, and I've got Acting U.S. Attorney Greg Kehoe, Middle District of Florida behind me. Thank you all for being here today. Today's operation is an example of the unprecedented collaboration between the military and the Department of Justice components, working closely with the U.S. Coast Guard. And look at all these great men and women in the Coast Guard. Thank you so much for your dedication. This is a textbook example of the Justice Department supporting the fight against violent crime. These drugs are worth over $500 million. Almost 45,000 pounds of cocaine, pure cocaine, uncut, and 3,800 pounds of marijuana. Congratulations again to the Coast Guard. You have done incredible work, Admiral, and your team, Captain, in securing these drugs. This team, with all the agencies I just mentioned, used drones, aircraft, and ships to interdict the traffickers off the coast of Peru, Ecuador, and the Galapagos Islands. What they did saved countless American lives, countless lives. This cocaine would have been distributed throughout our country and perhaps throughout our world. 11 separate prosecutions will take place as a result of this, and they will be prosecuted in the Middle District of Florida. These defendants will be held accountable for bringing this poison into our country. I always say if we can save one life, we have done amazing work. And today we have saved thousands and thousands of lives as a result of this incredible cooperation. We believe two cartels, CJ&G and Sinaloa, were heavily tied to these shipments. This is a major blow to their financial operations and their efforts to distribute drugs throughout our country. It's an example of a prosecutor-led, intelligence-driven approach to stopping these criminal enterprises in their tracks. DOJ and all of the agencies involved will continue to dismantle this transnational criminal organization, lock these criminals up, and keep our country safe. The drugs that you have seen today will no longer destroy lives. They will help us lock up the criminals. Thank you all, and it is my honor to introduce the Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Kash Patel.
Thank you all for being here. General Bondi, we're here today because of your dedicated leadership to safeguard American lives, because you had the courage to follow President Trump's courage to put our children first and to make sure that the narco traffickers, and make no mistake, this administration has labeled them foreign terrorist organizations because that's what they are. There is no lethal force on planet Earth that is responsible for an overdose death of an American citizen every 7 minutes, more so than these federal terrorist organizations, foreign terrorist organizations. We are humbled to be a part of this Department of Justice, and we are going to continue to safeguard our streets. This is what it looks like when the United States whole-of-government approach brings every resource to bear, from the Department of Defense and the United States Coast Guard, from HSI, from FBI, from DEA, and so many others. They are going to get all the drugs off the streets, off the markets, and as Attorney General Bondi said, we are going to lock them up. They are no longer going to be free to roam. We are going to dismantle the next man up theory that has been breeding in these Mexican cartels for generations. No more. We are here today because of your brave work. The men and women of the FBI that I lead, I'm humbled and honored to be here in South Florida, where I spent so much of my career before I moved to Washington, D.C. And looking around, I'm awe-inspired by the fact that when you take the rules and regulations that blockaded these brave men and women of law enforcement, military, and you unshackle them, then you should look at this seizure and you should see how much it multiplies and see how many children and how many young adults and how many adults' lives that we have just saved. They did it. We're fortunate to be their leaders. We're humbled to be here. And you will see this happen across the country, because this is not a one-off for General Bondi. She has made this a mission priority, and the FBI will follow in every corner of this country and every square centimeter of this planet to eradicate the narco traffickers and the foreign terrorist organization that are killing American citizens. They will be held accountable. We will take preventive measures, and we will scour the ends of the earth to find every single one of them. Thank you so much for being here today.
Good morning. We welcome the crew of the James back from a remarkable patrol where they seized $510 million of illegal drugs, that's cocaine and marijuana, that was interdicted at sea before it can reach the U.S. border. So what does that number actually mean? You know, what does the number besides the dollar sign mean? It means 154 lives saved directly from cocaine-related overdose deaths in this country. It means that there's almost 11,000 less new cocaine users that are going to get access to the drugs. It means that we've saved at least $16.5 million on costs related to inmate care and health care for people inflicted with these drugs. And from the Coast Guard standpoint, what this really means is a beautiful ship like the James heralds a new time for us, a new time of assets that impact the United States strategies for countering these cartels in new ways and disrupting the flow of illegal drugs. Just since February, the combined efforts of Coast Guard cutters James, Stone, Weishi, and Mohawk yielded over 59 metric tons of narcotics seized. That's $1.5 billion of revenue to the cartels. This success is a team success made possible through the dedication and coordination of our partners in DHS, DOD, and DOJ. Every day, the Coast Guard controls, secures, and defends the border and maritime approaches of this country, proudly serving as part of DHS at all times and as a military service and part of the armed forces. On the water and in the air, the Coast Guard and our partners are on the front lines to fight against these foreign terrorist organizations, including the cartels and other dangerous criminals who seek to traffic bulk cocaine, including illegal fentanyl and other deadly drugs, from entering into our communities. Under our DHS leadership, the Coast Guard has worked diligently to harden and secure the U.S. southern border and maritime approaches. Our message to the cartels is simple. We own the sea. You do not. We will find you, we will hunt you down, we will stop you before you reach our border, before you can smuggle these drugs into our country. To the crew of the James you see here and all of our partners gathered, thank you for the great work keeping America safe. Thank you very much, everyone. Semper Paratus.
That was Vice Admiral Nathan Moore, who is the commander of the U.S. Coast Guard Atlantic area. Before him, you also heard from Kash Patel, the FBI director, and U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi, talking about the $509 million of marijuana, but mostly, as they said, pure uncut cocaine that they were able to interdict off the coast of Peru, the Galapagos Islands, a number of other places as well, using drones, aircraft, and helicopters. They say this saved lives, that these drugs were tied to two cartels as well, and there will now be 11 separate prosecutions here in the state of Florida because of it. So that the news conference continues now at Port Everglades down in Fort Lauderdale. Some breaking news here on Fox 35 News Plus. The Orange County Sheriff's Office looking for this 12-year-old boy, Julius Mason Garcia Rivera, 12 years old, black hair, brown eyes, 5'6", about 115 pounds. They say he was last seen in the area of Kimpston Drive and Darwood Drive yesterday evening. They say investigators saying they're concerned for his safety because of his age. They also say he was last seen wearing a white T-shirt, black shorts, white tube socks, black Crocs, and also carrying a black backpack. So they're asking folks, if you see Julius, if you know where he is, you're asked to call 911. Again, this 12-year-old boy missing, last seen last night in Orlando, and the Orange County Sheriff's Office looking for him now. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we'll be right back.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Welcome back into Fox 35 News Plus. A live look right now. In the background, you see a Camping World Stadium, and closer up in the foreground, you see Inter & Co Stadium, two stadiums that will be hosting FIFA Club World Cup games here in Orlando in June. That's when that kicks off. Today, there was an event held in Orlando to celebrate and commemorate those games coming here to Orlando. We should note that Orlando is the only U.S. city with two stadiums hosting games, Camping World and Inter & Co. So I want to play for you a little bit. The FIFA president is in town for this. He was at a news conference earlier today with Mayor Dyer and also other local officials to talk about the excitement for the FIFA Club World Cup coming to Orlando here in June.
FIFA selected Orlando, just a little bit of context and a little bit of history if you're not familiar, but FIFA selected Orlando as one of 9 hosts to have matches in the inaugural World Cup here in the United States in 1994. More than 3 decades later, Orlando continues to create exciting opportunities for sports fans from around the globe and has hosted dozens of international matches here to date. I'd be remiss, and I don't know if I saw her, but I want a little bit of a shout out to Joni Sherm and Michael Clary, who were part of that team back in 1994. Gianni, they're still here in the market, helping us with our efforts, and of course, we're so thankful that FIFA was here hosting World Cup matches in 1994. So with that, if we could, we'd like to unveil this absolutely stunning trophy. Mayor and Gianni, if you would do the honors, that would be terrific. I can do the drums. For our first presenter, needs no introduction, but I'll make one anyway. 22 years as the mayor of the city of Orlando, our good friend, the Honorable City of Orlando Mayor Buddy Dyer.
Thank you, Jason, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Camping World Stadium. I woke up this morning and turned on Fox News Local, not Fox News regular, Fox News Local, and there was Gianni over at Inter & Co. So I know he's been busy and had a lot of media hits, but we are happy to welcome the entire entourage to Camping World Stadium. It's an honor to be part of the debut of World Cup, Club World Cup this coming summer. We have that long history that Joni really spearheaded and started, but I think we are now the soccer capital of the Southeast United States. We are certainly the premier sports destination, and that's objectively. That's not just subjectively me saying that. That's Sporting News saying that. So we have Orlando City Lions, and Mr. President, we have the best women's team in the entire world that resides here in Orlando. Our Orlando Pride set, not only did they win the regular season shield and the championship, but they set just about every record that you could think of for women's soccer during the course of that. So we're very proud of them. And again, we're proud to be hosting 6 matches, 4 group play, and then a quarterfinal, or is it quarterfinal and semifinal, I guess. So we will have some really great games during the course of that time. And of course, we're the only city that will be hosting in 2 different stadiums. So I also want to comment on our power of collaboration. We do these big things because we're able to work together. Orange County government, Greater Orlando Sports Commission, Florida Citrus Sports, Visit Orlando, Orlando City, and the City of Orlando. So let's congratulate ourselves for being able to host this. And we look forward to having some of the world's best clubs here.
Well, thank you very much for your warm welcome. It is truly a pleasure and an honor to be here, dear Mayor. Thank you very much. Can you clap hands for the Mayor? Isn't he fantastic? 22 years, Mayor. I will ask you for some advice.
And we finally got World Cup.
And finally, we got a World Cup in town. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Thanks to all the commissioners and delegates, and I'm sorry I don't know the names of all the titles that the persons who are here are there, but I understand that you are a fantastic, fantastic team working together for your people here in Orlando. So please, clap hand for yourself, as you say. And we are here, yes, to bring the World Cup back to Orlando after 1994. 1994 was the World Cup of the nations. 2014, Brazil in the final against Italy. I'm Italian. I forgot the result of the final. But it was certainly a great World Cup. And next year, of course, we have another World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. But we thought that after almost 100 years of history of football or soccer, that we know which country is the best country in the world. It was about time that somebody invented a competition that determines for the first time which club, which team is actually the best team in the world. Because, well, you have this in America, in your beautiful American sports. If you win, I don't know, the baseball, whatever, the MLB, you say you are world champion, or the NBA, you say you are world champion. Actually, you are American champion in reality. You would probably be world champion if you would play anyone else. But the great thing about soccer is that soccer is played everywhere in the world. And for this reason, it's not just the one who wins in England or in Europe or in Italy or in Spain that is the world champion. It's the one who wins a real FIFA trophy who is the world champion. So we created a competition, and we created a new trophy, which is quite a stunning piece of art created by us at FIFA and crafted together with and by Tiffany and Co. This is a trophy that represents the universe, because our sport is universal, it's global. That represents the past, but also the future. It is a trophy that doesn't have equal in the world of sport. And it is a trophy that for the first time in its history will be lifted here. This is the very first edition of the FIFA Club World Cup. So in 100 years from now, when we will be here celebrating the 100 years anniversary of the FIFA Club World Cup and Orlando as host city, people will show, well, the first edition, because the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, they might be bigger, better, different, but there is only one first. Only one first. And you are part of this first edition. And not only you are part of this first edition, dear Mayor, dear friends, but your city is unique in this respect, because you have 2 stadiums which will host games of this new competition. The only city in this first World Cup, the only city in the United States of America who will host FIFA Club World Cup matches in 2 different stadiums.
So a lot of excitement for those matches coming to Orlando in June, and also the FIFA Club World Cup. You'll be able to watch that thanks to Fox Sports. So Fox Sports covering that. Just another thing you can watch on Fox 35. We're going to take a break here on Fox 35 News Plus, but we will be right back after this.
You're watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, the deadline to file those taxes is right around the corner coming up next week on April 15th. Experts say get it done now. Eric Steffi, the founder and CEO of Federal Solutions Support, was on Good Day Orlando to talk about why you don't want to wait any longer.
We know that accountants maybe aren't always everyone's favorite people. My husband's an accountant, by the way, so I'm allowed to say that. But why are people putting off filing their taxes? What do you think is the #1 reason?
Well, most people, we call it tax anxiety. A third of the people, like you said, they put it off. One of the biggest reasons, well, 3 of the biggest reasons is they're afraid they're going to make errors on it. They're afraid they don't have enough money to pay what's owed, or they're afraid they're going to get audited in the future. So we know by delaying tax preparation can actually increase your stress level.
And we know that people are struggling right now to pay for nearly everything at this point. So say you're afraid that you can't afford to pay your taxes right now. What are your options?
The first thing is, the most important thing is to get filed, to make sure you file by the deadline. If you should owe, they're going to be able to work with you. You can reach out and create a payment plan. If you do owe but don't have the money, you still need to file and then work with them, the IRS, so that you can be in the right position, so you know exactly where you're at, and they can put together short-term plans or long-term plans to work with you.
We do have something special when it comes to the tax deadline this year, though, when it comes to Florida. We had that hurricane, and we know that some people are going to get some extra time. But who does that apply to here, Eric?
Well, anyone that was affected by the hurricane will be able to have an extension. They can either talk to the person who preps their taxes where they're at, or you can go online to the irs.gov, and they actually have the ability. For some people, part of the reason they haven't filed is they don't know if they're going to do it right, and they may need assistance. The IRS, if you make less than $84,000 a year, they have on their website that you can file your taxes online with them. They will direct you to the right place.
Great. And another option here that I want to talk about for people is if you are putting off filing your taxes, you may be more susceptible to scammers. How can we guard ourselves against those scammers, Eric?
Yes, it's very, very important the state of Florida is the worst state in the union for tax fraud. What happens is 5 of the top 25 cities in the United States are in Florida. And what happens is scammers come in, they steal your Social Security number and then file for you and have your refund deposited into their bank account, not yours. So the sooner you file, the better. Make sure that you can get online and lock your Social Security down, number down, so you know exactly what's happening.
Live look right now at the University of Florida campus in Gainesville, where celebrations continue for the basketball team's national championship. We saw a rally on campus yesterday. There are more events going on through the weekend. Also interesting to note that 7 local players led the Gators on their championship run, including former Dr. Phillips star Denzel Aberdeen. He scored 7 points on Monday night, and his high school coach was on Good Day Orlando this morning.
Well, this must have been so much fun for you to watch.
Oh, it's been incredible. I was actually in San Antonio for the Final Four game. I was able to see Denzel in person, and it was just a special moment to watch a kid that you've known so long and watch him grow and play in the Final Four on the biggest stage. It was just incredible to watch.
All right, so that final moment when the Gators sealed the deal and they won that game on Monday night, when a lot of people were doubting them in that game. They went into halftime. Clayton hadn't scored a point the whole first half. People were like, "What is happening?" Right? What were you thinking as you were watching that?
I mean, I was just hoping Denzel would come in and change the game, and that's exactly what he did. They were down 11 when he came in the second half. Leading scorer Walter Clayton was struggling. Denzel made some big plays, made a layup. Hit free throws, drew foul in a box out, made screen for another teammate. Like he did a lot of things to help bring them back in that game. Down 11 when he came in and down 3 when he came out. So he was a part of that run, and I was just proud of him. I mean, he's a winner. He does whatever it takes to win, and it's just awesome to see how much confidence he has now in the national championship game on the greatest stage we have in college basketball. So it was just awesome to see.
Coach, I was reading a story that you did several years ago when he was part of your team, and one of the things you said was, Denzel for us is our rock. We put the ball in his hands, and we trust him to make most of our decisions. What a huge compliment for this young man. Tell me a little bit about what it was like for you to coach him, and I'm sure you had a great bond with him, too, when he was playing for you.
Yeah, I mean, your coach, head coach, and point guard are connected. You got to be on the same page, and me and him always were. It was just about winning with him and about winning with us. So Denzel grew a ton with us from the time he came in as a sophomore to the time he left as a senior. But like you said, from day one, I mean, he was our rock. I put the ball in his hands and exhale. Denzel's got it. Denzel's good. He'll take care of it. No worries there. But it was just awesome to see because he led us to a state championship, and he's such a winner, and it has been throughout his career. And for him to have the opportunity to be that winner, like when they were down, was the biggest thing for me. The points are great, and everything else is cool, but he's a winner, and I just love seeing that.
Oh, I bet. And I can't imagine, Coach, it's one thing as a pro basketball player to say, my team won the state championship as Dr. Phillips high school player. It's a whole nother to then say my team won, a national championship. I can't imagine just how proud you are of him.
Yeah, so proud. It's because it's Florida Gators, is a big deal. In Florida, obviously, Denzel's a Florida kid and he grew up wanting to be a Gator. He committed to the coach before Coach Golden. He committed to Mike White, and he decided to stay when Coach Golden came. And he also decided to stay when, it was not easy for him his first 2 years and playing time, and he had to work through it and work through it and work through it. So I'm really proud of him in the era of the transfer portal and guys just leaving, that he stuck it out and worked his butt off. He's always been a worker. He lives in the gym. Never had any doubt that he would be a big-time player at Florida because he was just going to keep getting better.
Oh, I love to hear that. And you brought up such a, it's something that's really, it's really plaguing, college sports is the NIL and these kids get in the transfer portal. Do you foresee him staying at Florida? Have you had that conversation?
He loves being a Gator. I know that. He's gone there 3 years. I hope he stays there. He graduates from there, and he's able to take a step forward next year and have an even bigger role as they try to repeat. But We haven't had that conversation, but I have all confidence that he wants to stay at Florida because he loves being a Florida Gator.
And neat to see him doing well as well. That's going to do it for us here on Fox 35 News Plus. We appreciate you joining us and hope you join us at 2 for Florida Live. So keep it here on Fox Local.